Hello and welcome to How Derm Would, the monthly show where I tell you how I would do things. Today, how Derm would fix the Madden games. This one, it's wild because a lot of people see the games in a lot of different spots. I'm one of the people that love the thought of Madden, hate Madden, still play the games. Not yearly, I didn't buy it last year. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to buy 24, but here's my idea. Here's what I would do to fix the games. Make them more fun, because goddamn it, EA. Fuck off with your whole, I'm going to make money, do nothing to the games, pay me money. Fuck off. Make a good Madden game. Fix all the bullshit, get rid of the stupid shit, follow these instructions, and I'll be honest, I think you make more money off the games. Even though some of the things I say are wild, it might not look good money-wise, I think if you do what I'm saying, I think you might have a home run football game for the next franchise for the next 10 years. You still got NCAA. You can have a team doing that. By the way, thing I have to add to this, NCAA, just make it its own team, please. Just bring its own team of, like, creators, or not creators, its own team, of people working on the game. Its own designers, own graphic workers, everything. Right, so, we're talking about that. So I've obviously come here and I've come up with a bunch of ideas of things that need to be changed. First up, change the look of the game. The menus. How the game goes through all the screens. Change them up. 2 years in a row. Change up the animations on winning games. Winning the championship. Change them all. Create new ones. For the love of God. We don't want to see the same thing. I think it's been the same for 3 years, maybe. Like, we're really sick of it. Please, for the love of God, change them. Come up with something new. Be creative, EA. Creative. Now, the other part of this is going to mix in with another How Dermwood you'll see in a few months. We're going to change the game schedule to every 2 years. I know, hold on, wait. Why would we do that? Why would EA ever do that? Because at the same time, we're changing this, we're also changing NHL. I know what you're thinking. What do you mean? So that means there's going to be a year there's no games for neither of them? No. You switch them to different years. Even number years will be Madden games. Odd number years, NHL games. That way, both games teams get a year to work on bugs and a year to work on the games separately. All the bugs can get fixed in, like, if they get them fixed in like 6 months and they are good, they have a year and a half to work on the next game and come up with ideas and put things in the next game. While at the same time, then there's a separate team. By the way, remember, we're going to 2 teams. The other team working on NHL on the 1 year where it's like, alright, we're 6 months into after Madden came out. Now we're 6 months out from NHL. Now we're a year from when Madden came out. NHL comes out. They're on different schedules. So one team, when one game comes out, like Madden comes out, the NHL team should be getting into building that game. While the Madden team's putting out the game, is starting to work on patches, starting to work on they make sure everything's working. And again, yearly, you do the off year, that game gets a roster update. So for like Madden, you get all the new rookies, you get all the changes on the teams that happen over the preseason and everything, and then you just put in the new MUT cards. You put the players in as new MUT cards, then, hey, you still can make your money off MUT, because I know you love that. I will talk more about this, you can put them in as MUT cards. Right, next thing we'll talk about, fix the AI. I know there's not a lot of things happening behind me. You just get to look at me. Turn me on as just a podcast. Listen to me in the background. There are a few big things with the AI that needs to be fixed. I only wrote a couple. More will probably come up off the top of my head. More jump ball animations. Because I swear every time Either, okay, fix the jump ball everything, because I swear it's just got issues. Either the players both jump, and it's an amazing animation. I love the animation. Both players jump, and it actually seems like, even in looking at the animation, it's a 50-50. The ball goes up, and 50% of the time the receiver catches it, 50% of the time the defender catches it, or if the ratings are bad, the catching's bad on the receiver, defender catches it. Like it has more of a chance of catching it, or it's just knocked out of the air. But for the love of God, why are there times I throw the ball up? Players got like an X Factor, got dead eye, I throw the ball up, the defender jumps, the receiver decides, not even going to try, I'm just going to go for the tackle like I'm a defender. No, game. Receivers should be going up for the ball, like right there. At least trying. If they mess it up, they mess it up. But they shouldn't just not even try for the ball because the game automatically said it's an interception. If it's an interception, at least have the offensive guy look like he's trying for the ball. Fix the fumble logic. Jiminy Christmas, the amount of times a player fumbles the ball and then it's like just knocked around and like players don't grab it. They just kind of like ignore it for a second. Like they don't think fumble, grab the ball when they're looking at it. Let's fix it. All right. Let's fix it. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed in these games and I can't even name all of them because I don't get deep into like MUT and stuff like that. But I know there's a lot of issues. The microtransactions. Heck, the trailer for 24 came out. You put the wrong Cardinal jersey on. Are you kidding me, EA? Are you that brain dead? You didn't even look at what is happening in the NFL so that you could put it in the games. You just took 23 and put a 24 on it and said, here you go. It's just a roster update. Fight me. There's a bunch more animation issues. Obviously, if you think about it, you'll find more. You'll find probably some other people that know them better, that play Madden all the time. I obviously play a lot of other things along with Madden. But Madden is one of the biggest. So, next, MUT. More EXP and pack game from just playing games. Make it so it's not a purely online forum. Make there be an availability for buy yourself single play for challenges, just playing a season with your team so that you get more XP, you can get cards, you can get packs. Obviously, you can leave what you have for the online section, but like, why is it a purely online thing? You could make it both so that you can get more people in to MUT. I know what you're thinking, we'd lose money then. No, you'd gain money because people would actually want to just buy things because they've already earned the rest of their team and they go, I don't want to just sit here and go through packs for one position. I'll buy that one position. They're not having to buy full teams to be competitive. They'll buy a position, maybe two. They need a backup running back because, again, running backs go down super easily. They want to run a 2 running back system. They could buy themselves a second running back on the market. Just come on. Just make it possible for people to not have to just spend thousands of dollars to have even a modicum of interest in MUT. More card types. Again, if we're going to this 2-year system, you can't just have the bronze, silver, gold, ruby card system. You got to add different types. You got to add special event cards. I know you kind of do that, but we got to expand it. We can do Player of the Week cards. QB of the Week. One card, and it's one player who got QB of the Week. One running back of the week you put in weekly. And they just get a special designed card. They get whatever rating you think they deserve. And then it's like, can you collect it? You're going to find it in the special packs. Just make it more diverse. And think of how much depth there can be to a football, like NFL game. Like, you could get so much more out of this, but you don't try. And like I said, you could add the rookies after the draft. Now you add the rookie cards. There could be so many different cards in this game and just make it interesting. And then the next year you come back and you start again with your bronze, silver, gold, ruby, X Factor players. They're not bronze, they're normal star, superstar, and X Factor, but go at color. And then you just add more again throughout the next cycle. And people would be interested in it, because then they don't have to buy the game every year. They're buying it every 2 years. Because by then they want that update. You have 2 years of how the game screens look. Like I've said, we've gone through 2 years. When the next one comes out and it has a different design, all the menus look differently, then they're like, all right, new game, new year. And again, you could keep the YouTube cycle going for a hype for the game once the roster update comes back in, because there's usually like a 6-month time span that Madden's hot. It dies for 6 months. With this roster update, you'd get 6 months again, and then it'd die for the 6 months after. Because let's be honest, no game lasts a full year. I'm sorry, even Elden Ring, one of the best games of the year in the past few years, lasted like 6-8 months. But if you could find the way to re-up and get a second 6 month out of the same game instead of having to put your team through building a whole new game every year, oh, that's brilliant. It's like genius. Now on to franchise. This is where I play most of my time, along with what I'm calling story mode, which will be the next section. But franchise, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. This is where I do this. So we're changing the scouting. Make it more like a system from MLB. If you see the MLB The Show 23, they have a fun system where, one, you bring in your scouts, then you have your gold, silver, and bronze level of scouting. Your first priority, your second, your third. You can set your first to be quarterbacks, second to be wide receivers in this region, third could be this specific player. The gold gives you the most scouting, silver middle, bronze lowest. I don't remember what the levels are, but like gold gets way more than bronze. Gold gets a lot. That's where you put the most amount in. So build a new scouting system, because personally, I think the scouting system sucks. I think it is horribly hard to actually know what you're getting out of a player. And also, just fix the randomization of players. We don't need there to be top quarterbacks every year. And for the love of God, why every time, I swear I've made so many new saves, there's always a superstar or better quarterback. Why can't we have a year where all of them are normal? Not a single superstar quarterback comes out of a year. They can be on the top of the board. And also make draft logic fixed. If a team has a franchise quarterback, there is no reason they should draft one at the top of the draft. They should skip. They should. They shouldn't just pick the top player available. They should have a needs-based system where they're able to identify what's more important, best player or our needs. Which one would help us better? If it is just best player available, like there's none of their needs would really work, so the quarterback's just the best, sure, take the quarterback. You could trade them off later for something you do need. And also, I swear there's rarely any big, like, in-season trades. Let that happen. Come on, build just a trade system. Teams trade all the time. Especially on the trade line. By the way, did I write this in here? Let's give ourselves, like NHL has. So let's take a thing from NHL. Let's have a trade deadline screen where you can go into the trade deadline. It's talking about all the teams, what's on their trading block, what teams are doing what. Oh, the big trades get popped up. Oh, big trade. Oh, big trade. Hey, this happened. Aaron Rodgers got traded again somehow for some reason, because who cares? More incentive for franchise mode, more things to look at. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about owner mode. Make owner mode more interactive with a screen for your character to physically sit down at important moments. So a coach or coaching staff hiring or firings, if you come up to your head coach, you start a new thing, you're a new owner, you sit down with them, you should be allowed to fire them. Just come up and say, sorry, let me shake your hand, tell them, hey, we are going to be letting you go, we're going to be going in a different direction, like a fun, like interactive thing, where they don't have to have like voiceovers, because it's going to be very hard to do that for every kid, But they can have text boxes first. You start out with that. You can build to when you're going to have like the voiceover, but you kind of have the character go up and say, "This is it. We're letting you go." Or they bring a coach in and they want to hire him, so you interact the deal. 85 overall or above free agent talks. You could bring them in and talk. Hey, we want to bring you in. We want to sign you. So you sit down with them and their agent. You're telling them about the deal. It brings up a screen where you put in the deal you want and you give it to them. And they say, hey, we'll take a look at it and get back to you. Thank you. And also the interest meter, they can come into you and say, yeah, we have a bit of interest. You have a couple things I like. Or they can come in and be like, I don't really have much interest in your team. Or they could come in and say, I really, really want to play for your team. So I'm excited to be here. Right? 85 overall and above trade deal announcements. You bring the player in and tell them, hey, we've traded you to this team. We had to make a trade. We thought it was best for the organization. Just a little fun screen. And then the player goes, oh! They're either like sad, or if they wanted the trade, they'll be like, hey, it's okay. Depending on the trade, the player's personality, you can get a little bit fun with what the response is. They could be pissed off and then have a thing never going back to this city. First round drafted player introductions. If you draft a first round pick for owner mode, I think this is best for owner mode. Head coach, I kind of want to leave head coach a little more alone. Head coach, you don't add the cinematics more. We can in the next game, but we start with just owner mode. Heck, you could do this actually with head coach if you wanted, but you bring in your first round drafted player. You're like, welcome to the team. We're looking forward to having you here. Just like a fun interaction. You give them their deal. And then you could do interviews with the media. You could have interviews after games. Hey, how'd the team do? How did the player do? Kind of like what they have now, but just make it more fun. Make it more interesting. Change up how that screen looks, because always the interviews looked dumb to me. And there can be sometimes where the media asks you out of left field questions like, we've heard there's trade rumors about this player. There might not be, but again, or when you put someone on the trade block, we've heard there's trade rumors about this player. And what you say can or might not affect how much you'll get for that player. If you say we don't really want to trade him, maybe people have to pay you a lot more for the player. But at the same time, there's going to be other teams that are going to walk away and say they aren't even interested anymore. They don't even want to try it. Whereas you can go the opposite way. Hey, yeah, we put them up for trade. We think they're a fantastic player, which will have teams thinking they can spend less now because it's already out there. You want to give it up. You guys make less, but also more teams then will be like, all right, we're in. So you have more options for trade deals on that player. Then the other one, you go neutral. You go, we're not here to talk about any trade rumors. The neutral answer, you don't gain nothing, you don't lose nothing though. It's just these little things that would build your modes to give the game more interest. And I think, personally as a player, I think this would make the game so much fun, wouldn't you? Next up, make player mode less glitchy. I want to scream because of this one. This one is specifically because we have had a glitch for the last 5 games where sometimes in a player, when you have a creative player in franchise mode, you're forced to the sim screen when your player character is on the field physically playing like a running back. It happens all the time. You go do the play, you're going to the next one, it kicks you to the sim screen, and then it sims once and then glitches, and you keep simming, and your player gets the ball a couple times, scores a touchdown, and you're like, why wasn't I playing as my character? Why was I kicked out? Another one you could do, add incentives to contract. Also, this upper thing I've really decided, it's more owner mode. Coach should be more just what it is. Just fix a couple things. So in owner and coach modes, Add incentives to contracts. 20 touchdowns. This many yards. You get this much money. It comes out of your... You get like a pool of money every year. So you only have that much to give out. And if you use it all, what you don't use will roll over. So sometimes it's good, maybe don't use it all. But also, incentives can help you sign free agent players. But the other teams are doing it too. And then create an expansion option. Go back in my How Dermwoods to my very first one. And look at how I did it. How I said, not specifically the teams. I was saying how you would do it. You could do this many teams. You could add up to 8 teams. You could fix the draft like this. What you do with the schedule then. Right? How you do, where is it? An expansion draft. So the final thing we're going to talk about with this is story mode. What I want you to do is we're doing a full story mode this time. It's going to go through one full season, and we are going to make it for these positions. We're doing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line, tight end, defensive tackle, edge, inside linebacker, corner, safety, kicker. Kicker is the one where you have like the quickest one. It's very short. You're just the kicker. That's it. But what I want this story mode to be is, again, you start at the college football championships. You get whatever NCAA teams you want. You put them in for this first story mode. It's going to start with the college football championships. You're going to play through that. You're obviously going to have that rival character, the one that's, ooh, I'm going to beat them. They're also my position. So whichever position you pick, they pick the same one. You then play through the college football. The now, isn't it 8-team? I think it's 8-team tournament, which means you have to beat your quarterfinal, your semifinal, and then win the finals. You got to win 3 games building up to it, which can build your draft stock. You can, if you play amazingly, almost get first round pick. You could get number 1 overall pick, this first one, or you can get 7th. We start with this first one being you could get whatever spot you want. EA, don't just pick one for us. Give us whatever one we want. Sorry, I just a lot of salt in my... I'm having issues tonight, guys. I'm sorry. So, then we do the draft combine. Let us play the draft combine, for the love of God! Do you know how long it's been? Years since you've let us play the draft combine. It drives me nuts. You go through the draft combine, which will either bring up or push down your draft rankings, then you get drafted by a team. Depending on the position, it picks the top 3 teams with that need. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line, tight end, defensive tackle, edge, inside, corner, safety, kicker. One of those 11. Not punter. Punters are too boring. We're going to do kicker. I think punter's the one. And again, if you're a running back, wide receiver, corner, you're going to be the punt returner. Kick returner. You'll get chances on that. That could be part of the story. Did you get into the season? Give us a story about how the player has to react to getting on the team. Depending on where they're being drafted, maybe told, hey, you got to play really good in these preseason games or else you might not make the team. Or told, hey, you're only playing in one of these preseason games because we don't want you getting injured because you're our guaranteed starter, number 1 overall pick. Depending on where you get drafted and where the player is, let that decide. Let there be branching storylines. You'd have 2 years to do it. If we did Madden 24 and put this for 26, 2 years to build this. You take the Madden fridge, 2 years just for the story mode would be more than enough time to do. And you already have the base work for Madden, and you just fix all these things. It shouldn't be hard to do it 2 full years. I don't think. Again, don't make video games, but in my mind, I don't think it'd be horribly difficult. So then, basically it gets you through the first season. After that, it's just like if you threw a player into franchise mode and it just keeps going from there. But give us that full 1 year story. I think that would be so much fun. But, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, go back and check out the rest of the Howard Dermwoods. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Boopa! Boopa! Boopa!